Hello, Emily here from CURRENTBODY. A quick guide for you today on how to use your NuFace Trinity. We have been seeing these absolutely flying off the shelves. They're incredibly popular in America and that trend seems to be coming over here. I've actually started using the device, although I did try it when we first started retailing it in November. I've actually started using the device every day now, and I'm using it every day for the last 2 weeks. NuFace recommended it for 60 days to see the real results. And I've sort of followed their 5-minute program, which I'm doing every single morning. So I'm going to run you through what I do. Now, it's very important that before you start using the device, you use an oil-free cleanser to cleanse your face, remove any makeup, that sort of thing. And I tend to use just a micellar water, just because it's really easy. That's if, of course, I'm doing it and I haven't already used my Clarisonic. So to be honest, most mornings, unless I'm particularly strapped for time, I do use my Clarisonic in the morning when I'm in the shower. So that's 1 minute, and Clarisonic removes any traces of dirt from the night or any sort of makeup residue that's left. It really opens the pores and makes sure that the microcurrent can then get down into those skin cells. So it's just a case of removing the makeup from the areas that you're going to work. So for this 5-minute facial, the one that I'm doing every day at the moment, you're working around the cheek areas, which of course lifts the jowls and lifts around the eyes, and then you're working over the top of the brow. And I will run you through exactly what I do. So the NuFace comes with a primer, and at CURRENTBODY we actually give you an extra primer for free. So you've got 2 that should get you through your 60 days of treatment. So this is the primer, and you do really need to use the primer in order to conduct the electric current. If you don't use the primer, it will hurt because the current is sitting on top of your face, and it kind of gives you that twitchy feeling and that electric current feeling, which you shouldn't really get using this particular device. So just a small amount of primer, which I apply to the cheek, and you can see it almost has a kind of wet look to it. And that conducts it. You do only need a thin layer, but you do need to make sure that you've covered the whole area you want to work on. If I've got any left, I tend to just pop it on the top of my forehead there. Okay, so I then switch the device on. Now, I leave my device in the charging cradle all the time. It's very clever. It's got a green battery in it. So that means that if it's plugged in, it's not constantly pulling electricity from the wall, you know, like your mobile phone does, for example. Once this is full, it switches off and it doesn't draw any more electricity until it needs to. What I love about the NuFace Trinity is how easy it is to use, especially compared with some of the other microcurrent devices out there on the market. There are other ones where you have to, fiddle around with it, select the settings. This, you press the on button and it's on. That's it. Very easy. There are 5 settings, so if I turn it down, you'll see I've gone down to level 1 there, but to be honest, I work on level 5. I want the best results that I can get in the time that I've got. So I'm going to start with the jawline. So you hear that beep beep, and you move it up very slowly up to the bottom of the earlobe, and you'll hear another beep, and then you move on to the next one. So that's slightly higher from sort of the edge of the mouth up across the top sphere is on the top cheekbone. And then right at the top, so the spheres are kind of either side of the cheekbone, moving up, right up to my temples. And you repeat that 3 times. So you're just gliding along, you don't apply a lot of pressure. And actually, while I'm working on this area of my face, even though I've got it on the highest setting, I can't feel anything. And that's because of that primer. So it conducts the electricity into the facial muscles, but it also means that you're not getting that sort of electric feeling. It's a bit like, I don't know if you've ever put the end of your tongue on a battery. Not very sensible, but it's the kind of thing we all did as a child, let's face it. And you get that kind of a faintly electrical tingling feeling. If you were to use it without the primer, that's what you would get across your face, which frankly, none of us really want on our faces, do we? So then I'm going to move up to above my forehead. So let me do it so you can see. So I've got the middle sphere bang down the centre. Then I move across, so they're sort of on top of either end of my eyebrow, and then right across there, so that's going up, and the end sphere sort of above my eyebrow. So the 3 spheres sort of go 1, 2, 3 across. Now you do get lovely instructions in with the manual, and actually it's very clear about where you move it, and I've found using this device, that's why I've been able to fit it into using it for 5 minutes every morning, because it is a case of grab it off the stand, apply the primer, and off you go. It's really very easy, and you can see as I'm doing it, you don't even necessarily need to be in front of a mirror. You can do it anywhere. Now, I must admit that when I'm using this on the highest setting on my forehead, maybe because I've got less fat than I have on my cheeks, I do feel a slight electric sensation right up the top into my hairline there, and that's it. So there we go, that's one side done. Now they do advise then to do one side, both bits, and then move on, because then you can see the difference in your face. And I always find that my one eyebrow is slightly lifted, and when I smile, it's hard to do it when I'm talking, that actually I do get that slight lift in my cheek. So then let me move on to the other side so you can see how I do that one as well. But you can see it's very, very simple. It really is. And I find that I can't really justify and say to myself, oh, you haven't got 5 minutes. I've got 5 minutes to spend on myself in the morning. I must have 5 minutes. And frankly, I even managed to do it before I'm doing the school run. So if I can fit it in, you can fit it in. So there we go. So once you get the 2 beeps, then you're ready to start moving. Before you start using it, when the device is clear of the primer, it won't beep until it feels the skin, but once it's got the primer on it, it does tend to just continually beep because it's made contact. So wait for a beep before you start the first glide, if you see what I mean. It's very, very simple to use. Now, obviously, there are further things that you can do with it if you wish to. So what I'm doing here is the basic 5-minute facelift that they recommend to do every day if you can, but 5 times a week at minimum for the first 60 days. Now, there are further things you can do to extend the program. So there are hold techniques. So this is the glide technique. But there are also holds that you can do, and what that involves is putting the 2 spheres in a particular place upon the face and holding it there for the cycle of the beeps. Now, to be honest with you, I have been trying to fit that in about 3 times a week, but of course it does extend the treatment time that much, and I find that just fitting in this 5 minutes in the morning is easy, but fitting in a whole 10 or longer takes a bit longer. Now, for those of you who are lucky enough to have the entire set of heads, you will, of course, also have the ELE head. So that is the eye and lip device. So that's really an interesting little head. It's almost looks like it's on 2 antennae and 2 little spheres on the end. And that's great for working on the lip contour here. And it's also really good for pressing into the eye and lifting. So if you are worried about drooping eyelids and that sort of thing, the ELE head is the one for you, because it really does lift those brows. The smaller heads allow you to get into those tiny corners that this larger head doesn't. Then you've also got the LED wrinkle head. So what that's for is red LED light has been proven to stimulate collagen production in the skin. So you switch that light on, it attaches onto the end of this device, and you hold it over the areas where you want to stimulate collagen production. For me, I use it mainly just around my eyes for the crow's feet, and also in between the middle of my brows, because those are the bits that I feel I've got too many wrinkles now. So there we go, this is the final glide. So you can see how quick and easy that is. I mean, I've managed to natter the whole way through. I haven't had to use my concentration in any way. So now I've switched the device off. I tend to use a damp cloth just to wipe off the end of the spheres, because I don't want to get a kind of residue build up. I then either use, again, a damp cloth just to take off that, or I go back to micellar water, just because I find it really light and really easy to use. And then I always apply a vitamin C serum, because there's been so much research into vitamin C and how good it is for repairing any damage that's already been done to your skin. So I do a vitamin C serum, I apply an eye cream, and then I apply my normal day moisturiser, and I put my makeup on top. So hopefully that has given you a good idea of exactly how you might use your NuFace Trinity, and frankly how easy it is to use. That is the best thing for me about this device. It's very uncomplicated, it's very simple to grab. I have it on my dressing table, so before I do my makeup, I do my Trinity 5-minute facelift program. Please let us know what you think of the device if you own one, and if you are considering buying one, please do contact us at CURRENTBODY.